Welcome to the programme. My name's Charlie Burton. I am interviewing independent trader today, Cliff Hughes. Cliff, welcome to the programme.
Nice to see you, Charlie.
Yeah, you too. Cliff, as always, we always ask people about their background. You've obviously got into trading, but tell us a little bit about your professional background prior to getting into trading, and what was it that got you into trading as well?
Well, I work in TV production, and I started 40 years ago now, so I'm very, very ancient. But I work in TV sound, that's my specialisation, but I work mainly in light entertainment production. So I work for a lot of big shows. If you think of things you might see any week on television,
yeah,
I'm probably involved with some of those.
Right, okay. Interesting, fascinating job, I should think.
It's, fascinating, a bit of travel from time to time.
Yeah.
Strange things happen, sometimes things we might like not to talk about, yeah. And sometimes, just great times, and sometimes hard work as well.
But I'm getting the impression you're not allowed to talk too directly about what you do.
Current contracts are very clearly NDA'd, so no, I'm not allowed to.
Yeah. So Saturday night TV, take a guess. Anyway, over the years or whatever. Okay, so what got you interested in trading?
Well, I've always been interested in the markets for a long, long time. Even way back at school, I had a friend who was very interested in stocks and shares, and he used to bring copies of the Financial Times in, and we used to go through the lists and look at how things had moved from day to day. It was quite a good game, but that wasn't serious. And then about 10 or 12 years ago, I had been freelance for that long as well. By then I'd left gainful employment some years before that, and my old company wrote to me and said, we'd like to buy you out of your pension, and that was kind of unexpected. So I looked into it, and essentially they thought I was too expensive to keep in the scheme because they thought I was going to live for too long, and if they had to pay me out at the end, they'd end up losing out. So they made me quite a reasonable offer to leave and set myself up in my own scheme. So I suddenly, about 10 years ago, got lumbered with a scheme I had to at least have some oversight of.
Yeah, sorry, and so you've been managing your pension fund, so to speak, ever since? To
some extent, yeah. I mean, not on a kind of day-to-day basis. I don't grab the phone and shout, buy, buy, sell, sell. But what I do is I have an oversight of where the investments are and also the risk. So, I started getting a bit more interested in how things moved and what it was having an impact on my pension, because I think a lot of people only think about a company pension as an amount of money they get at the end of the month when they retire. So they say, I'll get so many £100 a week or whatever. And suddenly when you're managing a pension, you actually think of it in terms of a global figure. And it's a substantial sum of money. So you start seeing the movements more. And when you start understanding that, I thought, well, that's really interesting. I'd quite like to do some investing on the side, or perhaps some trading on the side, to augment this and try and make some more money for myself, okay. To make our retirement nicer.
And so what was it, how did you hear about Forex trading or trading on the side, as you said?
Well, I think like a lot of people, the first thing I heard about trading at all was binary options. I think that was the great thing. Yeah. And so I spent a few weeks skirting around a very enthusiastic lady from Cyprus who kept ringing me at every time of day. I mean, she literally was at one stage the most rung number on my phone at home, and it literally would just come up and my wife would say to me, it's them again. So she did try for a while, but I kind of fended her off. But then I then thought, well, I need to find out more about this, because clearly this isn't the way I want to go. I want to go something a bit more structured, and I want to learn more about it. So I happened across the Traders Millions by the Minute documentary series, which by then was a couple of years old, actually. Yeah. So I just found it on YouTube, and I watched it, and I saw the second episode, which was the one you were featured in, and I thought, well, that sounds more like my sort of thing. I can appreciate, I understand that, and he makes sense to me. So then I had to find you, so I Googled you, which took a little time, but when I'd found you and found Easy Trader, then I just had a couple of guest days in the room, like most people do, and liked what I saw, liked the people, joined the courses, and started working through the courses that way.
Right, okay. And that was roughly 3 years, not quite
Yeah,
3 years ago.
not quite over. Yeah, just about 2.5 years ago. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And so we're going to talk in some detail about some of your experiences, but certainly you've got started. What's your goal over the next sort of 5 years then with your trading?
I think my goal genuinely is to get to the end of a 5-year period and feel that I can trade. That's as simple as it. I'm not set a financial goal, just to think I can competently trade. So that then, and I think it will take 5 years as well. I think, it's a lot to get through. It's a lot to learn and absorb and actually get a style that you're comfortable with as well. So once I've done all of that, if I can get to the end of that period and think, I can do this, then I can see about making some money with it and perhaps making a small amount of additional income to augment the pension or to just have there so that, because I work freelance effectively, there are periods of the year when I'm not very busy. So then it gives me something to do and earn some money as well, which is even better. So if I can do something that keeps me occupied and brings some money into the house, well, that's a good thing.
So you're seeing this still, even though you're nearly 3 years in, although you've said that some of that time, when you'll get busy at work, trading is put on the side. But you're still seeing this period as just a learning process, just trying to carry on, build your experience as much as possible.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it genuinely is. I have no great expectations of sort of huge earnings in the short term. I'm looking at it as I want to learn it properly. If I get to the end of it, because there's still, I might get to the end of it and never think I've got it. But if I get to the end of it, then hopefully I'll be able to do something meaningful with it.
Yeah, okay. So you're still seeing it as, okay, you're trading when you can, and but it's more about accumulation of knowledge, experience to get to that point, like you say, that 5-year point where you say, right now I want to start trading maybe a bit more serious, when I say seriously, but with more money, you've got more money
in the account, yeah. That would be my ideal. Is to get, if I feel I get to that point, then I feel I can move a bit more money into that account and actually try and do some damage with it.
That's a great expression. We'll cut that expression out maybe, doing some damage with it. But yes, but you're right, because the more money you have, the easier it is to trade, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you see that just from sort of my oversight of my own pension, is that because that is a considerably larger sum of money than I'm trading with, is you see the movement in that on a daily basis. Sometimes it can be quite frightening. And one of the things about having had that oversight over the last 10 years is that you learn that that's kind of normal, that you might see a large amount of money disappear out of the account one day and then 2 weeks later it might be back. You have to learn to cope with that, because it is not very pleasant the first time it happens, and you think, oh my God, what's happened, and you just keep calm.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. Yeah, very interesting. Like you say, you're getting used to, or you've got used to that a little bit from managing your money. But you've also said to me, we were having a coffee earlier on, that you get used to, your job has helped you with trading as well.
Well, exactly, because it can be, TV production is kind of a high pressure business, particularly when we work live, which I do more often than many people. So you have to have a certain calmness, because otherwise, you can't panic. And sometimes things do go wrong. I mean, most of the time they don't, let's be honest. We try and avoid that. It's not something we want to happen. But sometimes things do not work out for us, and we have to find ways around things quickly, or we have to, improvise hurriedly to get something working. And so being calm in a crisis is a good thing for us, generally speaking. And I think there is a read across to trading as well, because you can't always get it right. Sometimes things will go badly wrong, and the worst thing you can do is panic at that stage.
Well, we'll explore some of these read acrosses, as you call it, from your work life into trading in part 2, and some of the more detailed information regarding your personal trading as well. So we shall be back for part 2 shortly.